This is the DandA Pest Control Podcast with your hosts, Daniel and Anthony. That's a great intro.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Who is that guy?
You know, I don't know. I've never met him.
Never?
No, I think it was just a recording that we pulled off the internet somewhere.
From a very professional website, right?
Yeah, we could, yeah.
That's a great intro, man.
Yeah, it is wonderful.
That's awesome, yeah.
All right, well, we're going to go over a few things. So we're going to talk about a little bit about what we're doing and why we're starting this. So the A in the DNA, Anthony, why are we doing a pest control podcast?
Well, to me, it's a very good idea. There's not a lot of podcasts out there for pest control. And me as a technician myself, when I'm running around, I'm either listening to an audiobook or a podcast. And I have listened to pest control podcasts in the past. They're good. Some of them are a little boring, but majority of them have really good info. You know, I solved an ant problem with some ideas I got from a podcast. And I'm just, I'm like, well, there should be more of this. Why is there not more? So...
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I think that was you brought me into it. I mean, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but the podcast is definitely a huge help. We're going to cover a lot of stuff. Some of them are going to be, secrets in the industry that, we need to bring to light. We have a whole array of different topics that we're going to bring in. So,
a ton, yeah.
Yeah. So whether you're an owner of a pest control company, whether you're a technician or whether you're just looking to get in the industry, this is going to help you learn. This is going to get you those tricks and little tips from professionals all throughout the industry in different states to kind of help you get into it.
And this is definitely going to be the place for that. And you touched up on it good. We're going to have episodes that are, not necessarily training, but it's just going to help you out, whether you're new, you're in the industry for 10 years or in between. So, and I'm excited to do that because there's a lack of voice in this industry. The only voice right now really is, here's a quick backstory, is that we are based out of California. We are, pest technicians. You're a pest control business owner out of California. And the common theme of pest control is that this mountain lion died and there's rat poison in it, or, there's things like that. So, and that's what the society sees. That's what society reads on the internet. They don't see the hard work we put in being safe, the 99% of us out there. And that's the point, is we want to get a voice out there that could, shed light onto a lot of these things, the negative, sightings that we get.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that floats around. I mean, California is always the biggest one. I think we're going to be the industry standard.
Yeah.
And setting.
I think this is perfect that we're in California.
Yeah.
Because it's like we're on the front lines of the battlefield. So I think it's hey, you're hearing it from guys that, we could barely spray Termidor. We could.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're not going to be able to use rodenticides here pretty soon.
Yeah, or snap traps, and listen, and this is perfect. We got to get going, because I feel like if we could get a big enough voice out there, if we could get the right people on, and for those of you listening, that is our goal. We want to hear from you guys, whether you're, owner, operator, technician, distributor, that, if your pesticide's got a bad name or whatever, we want you to get your voice out there. And that's what this is for. It's a platform for the whole industry.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll bring in, we'll definitely make sure that everyone outside of California does get to, you'll hear about it from us first. You're going to get the laws that are going to change. You're going to get that from us, because unfortunately what happens here is probably going to spread out through the United States, and you're going to get it too. Like
a wildfire. And it's funny because our state burns half the year.
Yes,
so you better watch out, because a lot of these regulations and laws and banned pesticides may be coming to a state near you.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's a little bit about what we're going to cover, guys, in the upcoming episodes. We're going to talk a little bit about how we got into the industry. Anthony, I'll let you take that away. How did you get in?
Cool. Well, I wasn't always in the industry. I wasn't born in it, right? So I had to get in there somehow. And it just so happened that I'm the most random way of getting in. I was working in a warehouse. I was a forklift operator, and my warehouse had pest control. And I'd see the guy walk around, and like he check the traps. He'd just kind of walk around. Sometimes he'd spray, and I was like, huh, that looks like a cool job. So then I started talking to him. I'd pull up next to him, my forklift, hop out, talk to him a bit, and I'd just be like, hey man, how's it going? He told me, the benefits, how much you get paid, why I should work there. And I'm like, oh, sweet. And I'm like, and you're just by yourself? He's like, yeah. I'm like, wow, like that's it? Like you just show up and you do your thing, And he's like, yeah, I mean, it's an individual thing most of the time. So I'm like, wow, that sounds like an amazing job. And given I was coming off of, a toxic team environment sort of at my old job, and that just the lure the industry gave me was just, wow, that sounds like the dream job. So, one day I'm walking at lunch, and, I'm walking outside through the neighborhood. It's a very nice neighborhood up in Lincoln, and I seen your vehicle, and I'm like, oh, look at that. There's a pest control truck. The number on it, there was a number, and above the number was we are hiring. So I'm like, oh, well, I've been talking about it and thinking about it. So I went ahead and called the number, and lo and behold, I ended up getting a job with you. And then now I'm a manager, and I've ran a route for almost 2 years, and I've done apartment complexes. I've gotten rid of bed bugs, cockroaches. I've pretty much done everything you could do in the pest control industry, and all that experience. And the funny thing is I don't even think I'm working sometimes. And that's the awesome thing. So this is just it's a great job. There's a lot of positive behind it because you're going out there, you're getting rid of someone's rats. There's rats in their kitchen. Rats poop is bad. Rats are filthy. They got viruses and everything. You're going out there, you're going to get rid of those rodents for them. People got roaches crawling up and down their kitchen. You show up, and you see, oh man, they got kids and stuff like that. And people just don't know how deep the industry is. You don't know that cockroaches could cause harm to you.
Well, it's a very satisfying job because most industries, you show up, they don't really care. You go to we'll just go really basic. I mean, a fast food, gas station, no one's going to say thank you for taking my order. No one cares.
Yeah.
We just go in, we expect you, that's your job, but when we show up and we take care of an infestation, a problem, we get thank yous, It actually is a little bit more satisfying, even from everything that I've done, where you're getting families that are thanking you for what you've done. Yeah, because there's a lot of phobias with insects. And rodents.
My wife is one of them. There was a giant spider in my house the other day.
Oh, was she freaking out?
Oh, she ran out the room, and the kids ran out the room, and I got to go in there and squish a giant spider.
Oh god!
And you got to think, man, it's like, well, what if I wasn't there? That spider has free reign in someone's house.
That's true.
It's good because people are scared of spiders. Black widows are terrifying looking. I'm still scared of them when I see them. I'll hit a web and I get the chills, I'm like, oh crap, I just touched a black widow web. Even if you're removing webs around the house and you have your web pole hitting the web, that, you're like, oh, uh-oh, I hope nothing's coming for me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I've had little baby spiders fall on me and everything from, so I mean, I get it. I know.
And what we got to realize is we're so conditioned to it that people, they don't, they're terrified essentially. And they don't know how, I wouldn't say easy it is that, look, they're not that bad. This is just how you have to handle them. But I would say that we are the person that steps in, and we don't second guess it essentially when we're at a house. When we show up, oh, you got black widows. Oh, I know what to do. To most people, it's holy shit. I don't want to get anywhere near the black widows,
It's exactly that. Actually, a funny quick side story. So I went up to my friend's cabin, and there were, mind you, this cabin is in Utah. It is up in the mountains. It is very cold. There's snow everywhere. Most people think, oh, well, all the bugs are dead.
Right.
Well, there's moths flying everywhere. in this place.
Inside the cabin.
Inside the cabin.
Oh, okay.
Inside the cabin. I mean, he had light fixtures just full of these things dead. And being in the industry, you never really think about it till you're in it.
Oh, no.
How many people are like, hey, what are these? Everyone calls me. Mm-hmm. Everyone calls me. How do I get rid of this? How do I do that? What do I do? Yeah. And I let him know. Oh, sorry about that. So I let him know that they're clothes moths.
Yeah.
Now he was a smart ass about it, but.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, where are they? I'm like, I don't know where they are. I mean, do you want me to look for them? I'm like, I'm just telling you, this is what you have. This is how you get rid of them. Right. But it was just interesting. It's always fun to kind of look at that when you walk into a place.
You do see it in a whole different light. And I remember as a kid growing up, my grandma had a room that was all her coats. Everything was hung up. It was like a giant closet. And I remember I would have so much fun because there'd be nothing but a bunch of like caterpillars. I thought there were caterpillars crawling all over the clothes. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Look at all these things. And then there's a bunch of moths everywhere. And I was having a blast. I'm like, oh, this is great. And then, now that I look back at it, I'm like, oh, all those clothes did have holes in them. And she and she just had a insane clothes moth infestation. And me as a kid was having a blast. You don't know anything about it. My grandma didn't even know what was going on. She was just be like, oh, there's holes. Oh, no.
Yeah, so, no, most people don't even realize it. Yeah. They have no idea.
Yeah.
So being in a few other industries and now getting into this industry, how do you like it? I mean, what's your take on it? So if a new guy was going to ask you, how do you like this industry? Would you stay in it? Is it a good career path? What do you say? How do you handle that?
No, I can answer that in two ways. The easy way is, hop in it. If you're doing the bare minimum, it's easy.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Now the serious way I'll answer.
That is not what we're here to talk about.
It is not. No, but I'm a very honest guy, right?
Yeah.
The serious way I'd answer it is it's a very rewarding job. And this is without saying anything about benefits that the industry has or anything like that. At the end of the day, when you're showing up to someone's house and you're solving their issue and you're doing that for 12, 15 people a day, it's rewarding. And and I have been in other industries, and I've been in, areas that I show up day to day, do a job, and it's not rewarding. You don't have that self-worth there that you get from the pest control industry. So it's an amazing job. And if you're a newcomer and you're debating on joining, this is my words of advice. Just do it. You more than likely won't regret it.
Yeah, definitely. I will agree to that.
Yeah.
I mean, how I got into the industry originally, my situation was a little weird, honestly. So I was a salesman. So if any salesmen are listening, door-to-door guys who are in the pest control industry listening to this podcast, they will know what I went through, what I did. I did security sales first. And then my brother-in-law decided, hey, let's jump on and start a company. And so he originally found someone else to be his partner, and tried to convince me in the beginning. I actually told him no multiple times. I told him, nope, not coming out. Nope, not doing it. I'm good. I don't want to do it again. And then eventually, he just wore me down. So I came out and started. I just started knocking doors. Had no idea that pest control was even a real thing, to be honest with you.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't. It's its own little world.
Thinking back, I do remember a guy coming in the house while I'm sitting there, playing video games as a kid, and he's spraying around me while I'm playing video games. And I didn't even know. I didn't even think about it.
And your throat was a little itchy, and but it's all fine. That's why there's regulations now.
Yeah. I got a third arm growing out of my back because of it.
But hey, that gives you more, you feel more aerodynamic, right?
Yeah, well, I mean.
So that technician that sprayed the stuff all around you.
Yeah.
It was probably some really bad stuff.
Oh, yeah, back then, I'm sure. Especially in Utah, that's where I was. So I'm sure they don't have too many regulations there.
Oh, no, yeah, but and that you're right. You don't know about the industry until you get in it. So
yeah, well, and so I went out there. I had no idea. I was selling people on, do you pretty much want it? Yes or no kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And surprisingly, a lot of people did. A lot of people wanted it. A lot of people, like we were talking about, had, they have phobias of spiders. They're freaked out.
This isn't a brag of how good of a salesman you are.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No,
just making sure.
I was terrible. Because I had no idea. I had to ask. It's actually pretty funny. I had to ask all the technicians, hey, this person has this. What do we do? This person has that. What do we do?
Yeah.
And so anyway, I was there after that first year. That manager bounced. The partner with him, he took off. And my brother-in-law came to me and said, hey, do you want to take his spot? Do you want to be the manager? So I jumped on. I was the sales manager for a few years after that. Until I had the opportunity to actually purchase the business from him. By then, I had my branch 2, my operator's license. Now I have a QAL with a few categories under it as well. So, I do have a little bit under my belt on experience-wise.
That's what I want to bring up, too, was you're a very unique character in the industry because you've sort of hit every avenue, which is, and you're going to have a lot of advice and, insight out there. So you were a salesman, door to door, right?
Yes.
And I assume you've done sales on the phone.
Yes.
And you also ran a whole route as a basic technician for a long time, right?
Yep. Yes,
and then you were an operator running a route and doing all the commercial accounts.
Yep.
And all while being the owner.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
it's an all-in-one trade, which, a lot of technicians out there who work for Clark, who work for Terminex, I don't even know if I can say their names.
No, you can. You can.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, I already did, so I don't care.
You already did.
Not a plug for them. Don't work for them.
Okay, I don't know if you can say that part.
Okay, well, you're probably right, but it's all right.
They're great companies.
They are. Yeah. You know what? The whole industry as a whole, they're all awesome.
Yeah.
It comes down to technicians, the education you have. But I had to learn that all.
Yep.
So I am excited to put my insight into it. I do not believe it takes 10 years to learn this industry. I think there is a faster way.
Yeah.
I do think you do gain a lot of experience that way.
Yeah.
But we are going to speed that experience process up with this podcast.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So you don't have to have 5 years on a route, to know how to treat something.
Yeah.
We're going to bring that. We're going to cut that down. So anybody who's just hopping in, we want to make you a better technician. We want to make you a better operator. We want to make you a better manager. If you're a business owner, we want to make you a better business. Because in this industry, Anthony, you were hitting on in the beginning is we do get a bad rep for a lot of stuff.
True, yeah, that's
and
true.
And that is because of unexperienced reps who aren't getting the knowledge to know how to do things the correct way.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not in the beginning stages anymore in the pest control industry.
No.
We have a lot of technology, a lot of new methods.
Yeah, we're in motion. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. And so we're going to bring that to light. I'll bring as much experience as I can with what I know and what I've done. And we're going to find as many people as we can to bring in.
Yeah.
So everyone can learn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely, man. I'm excited to hear from everyone out there. That's for sure. Whether you're all the way in Florida, New York, wherever. So.
Yeah. And so with that, some of the episodes that are going to be coming up, technicians, operators, managers, whoever have these experiences, please, send us an email. We want to know your horror story. We want to know any funny stories or honestly just something weird.
Yeah.
If you have anything weird, funny, scary, send it in. We'd love to do an episode with some of you guys on here, a few phone calls.
Yeah, we'll take some calls in. You could call. You'll be right on the podcast talking with us live. We want to do that. That's the whole point of the podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we want the voices to be heard, so let's hear them.
Yeah, and so that email, if you are looking to email that story in and possibly becoming a guest on our show, it is DandA Pest Podcast at gmail.com. So that is DANDA Pest Podcast. You can also follow us on Twitter at DN, just the letter N, a Pest Podcast. Or you can just go on our website. If you want to go on our website, there's a link. You can send us an email through there as well. That is dandapodcast.com. So that is DANDA podcast.com.
Great. Yeah. And now we do want to hear from you guys. We want to hear, whether you have a horror story on the route or you have a funny story that you have. And let's share one ourselves. Do you have any horror stories or funny stories while you're a technician on the route?
Yeah, actually I do. I have a horror story. When I started getting into roaches, actually doing roach treatments, I got called out to the outskirts, outside the city, and it was on a farm. These houses were literally on a farm, and they had roaches. All of them had roaches.
Oh yeah.
And so I went into one. This place had holes in it. It was a pretty rundown little shack. Luckily, the owners were willing to pay for the treatments, but I walked in there, and there were roaches everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even explain how bad this was, other than I had bait, and I baited by the front door on the hinges.
Yeah.
Because there was a gap there, and they were piled into there. I actually have pictures. We should see if I can.
No, we could definitely upload some pictures.
Yeah.
And I know I've seen them.
Yeah, and I baited there to start, the whole process. I walked around. I baited a few other areas. By the time I got back to the front door, the bait was gone.
Wow.
That's how many roaches were there eating that bait. Long story short, I'll speed it up. By the time I got done, I was walking out of the door, and roaches were pouring outside to where the lady was freaking out so bad. She grabbed a broom. She was trying to smack them and kill them with the broom. I mean, it was a full-on freak show walking out of that place. I mean, they were everywhere. They were on my pants. It was bad. But we did get rid of them.
Yeah.
I helped them out a lot there, but that was probably the top. That is the number one spot on roach infestations for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That says something, right?
Oh, I can't even explain. I mean, roaches falling off the ceiling. Gosh. I mean, pouring out of cracks and crevices. I mean, you're getting all sorts of stages in life. These are for the new guys. I'll give you a little hint. There are no such thing as albino roaches. I know that joke is very big in the industry. That is not true.
Right.
But yes, you will find one that is recently molted.
And it's all white.
And it is all white. I do have pictures.
Yeah, and I've seen a couple myself. Actually, like a month ago, I seen one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But yeah, maybe that's the super roach. You never know what's going on. Yeah, I've had clients tell me that. They're like, dude, some of them are all white and they're flying around. I'm like, okay, well, whatever you say, man.
Whatever. They're just gonna come up with stuff to freak you out.
Yeah. No, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
That about your story. This is to follow up your story. How do you think someone could let their home get that bad? What is that? Do you think? Is it something that they're not ready in their home? There's just something missing there. What do you think?
That is a question I've always asked myself, is how can someone allow, even with bed bugs we've seen, I mean, we've gone in and it's,
oh man,
but I've always asked myself, why? Like, how can you allow it to go from, I see one or two, to now there's literally thousands. They're in your food. You're eating them.
Yep.
I don't know. I think it might just be a denial, something that's in them. They just deny it. Because these people actually prep their home, I mean, to a T. It was one of the best preps as well that I've ever seen someone do.
Right.
But I don't know. I have no idea.
Because they're fed up. I mean, they can't get out of bed without stepping on 100 cockroaches.
Oh, I couldn't even sleep. I couldn't even imagine.
Me either, man. And I've actually done a client that she had bed bug and roaches, and she had roaches on her bed.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. And
is this your horror story?
No.
Oh, this is just one.
I was going to do a funny story.
Oh, well, let's hear it. What's this funny story?
Well, my funny story is, I don't know if we still service this guy. But we do. Okay. And I'm not going to say his name.
All right.
But
he doesn't even know. He doesn't know.
He's an eco-friendly guy.
Oh, okay.
And I remember I show up and he's a big talker.
Yeah.
And he'll talk to you for about 40 minutes.
Okay.
And then you go service his house.
Yeah.
Well, I was in the backyard talking with him one time, and his sons were, and we're in California, and they're growing a bunch of marijuana plants.
Oh, right? I think I know this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna walk around the house and I'm gonna spray and I'll avoid the plants. And then he's like, oh, but there's a lot of bugs. Just go ahead and spray all over the plants. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna do that.
He has no idea that product will burn those plants. Okay.
And so he's telling me, and then I kind of told him no, and he agreed. But then he started ranting to me about his whole, his life and about his sons. And his sons may or may not be pretty old, living with him still.
Step brothers?
Yeah, I believe so. And it brightened up my day, man, because I just love the things he was saying was just funny. I don't know if I could get too much into detail, but maybe the word deadbeat was getting thrown out there.
There you go. Yeah. Yep. I've been there. I've heard that story from that same guy. I know who you're talking about.
And I love it. And it's not that I love that maybe his sons aren't doing the best or nothing like that. It's just you get to hear some entertaining stuff from clients, man. And it's just hilarious. The guy followed me around his house the whole time. Venting to me about his family and how his son didn't help him lay some cement, and I just loved it, man. It's great, and that's my funny story.
Oh yeah, no, that's awesome.
And yeah, you may or may not know that guy.
Oh no, I know.
We're gonna leave his name.
I know where he lives. I can even picture his house. I know exactly who you're talking about. I've been there a lot.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And if he's awesome. Listening to this.
Thank you.
You. Yeah, thank you. And we appreciate you.
Yeah, we do. Well, awesome, guys. Thank you for listening to the very first DandA Pest.
This is the first
podcast.
One. Yeah, our introduction podcast.
Remember, leave a review. If you hate us, you like us.
We want to hear.
We do want to hear. We want to know what we can change, how we can become better, or how we can make it more relevant to what you guys want or what you're listening to. But thanks for listening.
Yeah. Thank you.